Inside Football is proud to have Joey as our presenting partner. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, in the strength of your choice. As a thank you for being part of Inside Football's crew, we teamed up with Joey to give you a 35% discount on your first order. Get it all at meetjoey.com/football. Marvin, I like what I'm seeing out of the Cowboys right now.
Jerry here?
No, he's not. That's probably why it's good. That's probably why it's good, because it feels like Jerry's finally listened to other people in the building.
There's no question about it. They've got a good football team. They've got a quarterback that can win. Brian, to me, the biggest thing is Brian managing the personalities in year two.
Yeah.
And that's, if you look at these second-year head coaches, he's got a tough job, bro.
And then there's the NFC East. This has been a division that, quite frankly, has been sort of kind of run by the Philadelphia Eagles the last couple of years. Obviously, it was an up-and-down season for Jayden Daniels with the injuries. The Giants got a lot to get into there. But let's start with a team that I think is going to be really good this guy's years. And I almost hate to say it because I feel like when you buy into it, buy in. It goes sideways. Marvin, I like what I'm seeing out of the Cowboys right
Jerry
now.
here?
No, he's not.
Okay.
That's probably why it's good. That's probably why it's good, because it feels like Jerry's finally listened to other people in the building.
There's no question about it. They've got a good football team. They've got a quarterback that can win. Brian, to me, the biggest thing is Brian managing the personalities in year two.
Yeah.
And that's, if you look at these second-year head coaches, he's got a tough job, bro. Huh? What do you say, CC? What do you think?
Well, my comparison to Dallas, I'm going to take you back to the 90s in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Where offensively, we knew we could be prolific. Now, Dallas, if they are not a top 5 offense and they are not in the top 10 in turnovers, they got no chance of being in the playoffs. Like, I'm not going to expect their defense to be a top 15 defense. But if they can create turnovers, because this offense, and the offense can be as explosive as any offense, but, you know, a lot of those days, man, we're holding on to our seat. Brett Favre got the ball at the end going against our defense. Was like, this ain't going to end well, you know, especially in this era in the NFL. When you can't stop people, when you can't stop the bleeding, and especially right through the gut. Like, they running the ball on the Cowboys like never before. So,
well, that was the disaster of last year with the whole Micah Parsons situation. Say, well, we got to get better on run defense, and you actually got worse with all of that. But, Steve, if you look at this defense now, okay, and I get it, it still has to come together.
Sure.
So Teddy Bruschi once said to me the greatest thing in the world. They have a lot of good players. We don't know if they have a good team.
Yep.
All right, but if you look at this defense now, Quinnen Williams is there. They still have Clark. They got Rashawn Carey. If DeMarvion Overshawn can stay healthy, they got a bunch of guys that can get after the quarterback a little bit.
I will tell you this. I thought watching tape, I think it was a year or two ago, I thought Overshawn was one of the most underrated players in the National Football.
Just can't stay healthy. Just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I don't know whether Jerry gets a credit or
Do we, we don't want to do that. We don't want to get. Do we want to give Jerry the credit?
we're going to take credit.
Give Will some credit.
But I will
Will McKay. Let's give Will McClay some
Will McClay is the guy.
No, Will McClay's a good football man, and I will say this. You know, when they got rid of Micah, everybody lost their mind, of course, and said, you know, why would they do that? I think that they've rebounded and they've done some good things with those picks and free agency and you know, I think now they have a formidable defense. You got Caleb Downs, who me and Cris were talking about earlier, maybe the best player in the NFL draft this past year. Yep. I think they got a chance, and I think obviously Brian Schottenheimer did a much better job in his first year, I think, than most people gave him credit for.
Yeah. What I loved about Brian, and this is going back years, when he was an assistant for the Jets, he came up one day and said, hey, when we were doing NFL Live, he's like, you guys cover us all the time. I want to cover you. So he took time out of his day. It was in the summer, so there wasn't a lot going on. But he drove up and spent a whole day with us from the production meeting. CC, I think you were doing the show that day. Mm-hmm. It was he sat in the production meeting, went to all the producers and the assistant AP guys that were cutting the clips for the show, talked to all the analysts, sat in the studio and watched us do the show for an hour. And I said, look, I have no idea whether this guy's going to be a good head coach or not, but I appreciate the way that he took it seriously enough to come see how we do our job and do the research and the homework to figure out why we do the things the way we do. And I think that's going to help him in the long run going forward, the way he's methodical about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he did, and George Pickens. Now I'm telling you, what a talent.
Oh my God!
But got a personality.
That's a word for it. That is certainly a word for it.
But he got him to play.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is you got to get him to play. Lamb. I mean, just those guys. I mean, I tell you what, who you going to double?
You got Ferguson.
It's kind of like
Ferguson. I mean, you're right.
It's kind of like you said when you and Randy were there. These are, I don't want to put anybody in the Hall of Fame yet. I want to be 100% clear, but these guys have explosive talent.
No, they really have explosive talent. I mean, they're not Randy Moss, Cris Carter, but they are good players. And guess what? They got a contract dispute that's not going away.
Correct.
Like, they traded for Pickens and put the franchise tag on him. Now, you talking about the curse.
Yeah.
Now, you talking about something you don't want to do to a wide receiver? Like, to me, why would you make that trade with a high draft pick? If the kid performs, why wouldn't you want to extend them? Now, the economics don't make sense.
No.
Like, they don't make sense in Cincinnati. They would have a model a lot like the Bengals, where the quarterback is going to make $55 million, two receivers going to make $70 million between the two of them.
And the tight end.
That model is not going to work in the NFL. So right now, they're going to play him on a 1-year deal, and then after that, what are they going to do, franchise him again?
Yeah, I think so, and then I think they'll make him prove it. I mean, the biggest thing is going back to when I went to Georgia to see George Pickens, and quite frankly, I always said this to our scouts. One of the things I always said is, when there are red flags, don't avoid them. I mean, they're there for a reason, okay? Right. And George was a guy that had tremendous talent. He didn't practice at Georgia half the time. The coaches didn't even recommend him at Georgia. When you got a talent like that and the coaches don't recommend him, there's a reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he played his way out of Pittsburgh by not participating.
And listen, I have a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin doesn't let football players out of the building. Mike keeps a
lid on stuff. Until it just goes.
Okay. Yeah. Now that you guys brought it up, Mike Tomlin 2 years ago called me on the phone, a lot like you did 20-something years ago. Hey, man, I need you to come in here and talk to these knuckleheads. I got a couple of them in the room.
Yeah.
Marvin, I show up that day that the dude was out racing a horse or something, didn't even show up. The guy he really wants me to talk to the team, but you really need to talk to him. Act like you're here for the rest of them.
Right.
So Mike Tomlin 2 years ago calls me. I came down with COVID, so I couldn't go into the facility, so we ended up missing. I was supposed to be there for 5 days with him in the receiver room, specifically for Pickens. So this has been going on for a number of years. So he's still got another prove-it year in 2026.
Well, and then there's the other issue, quite frankly, that is Jerry seems to piss off the greatest agent, if not the best, one of the top 3 agents in football, George Mulugheta. And that was Micah's agent, and now that's George Pickens' agent. Like, he's not making it easy on himself.
That's right. But Jerry doesn't care. That's the thing. You have tremendous leverage when you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I think we should give them
every game, no matter what.
We should give them some credit. And we start talking about earlier, the players and stuff they have drafted, the draft picks and stuff they have utilized. Like, they do some good things. Yeah. And to me, Caleb Downs, I would challenge someone to tell me a better defensive player, and that's being all the Bozas, everyone that came out of Ohio State. Tell me a better defensive player that's come out of Ohio State in the last 20 years than Caleb Downs.
Trey, from a GM standpoint, when you look at the George Pickens deal, obviously you sit down and you do the economics and you say, what does this deal look like if we franchise him twice after this year's contract? And, you look at the numbers. Here's the way I look at it with a guy like George Pickens, and I felt this way as a general manager with guys who are sort of on the edge. There's nothing wrong with continuing to franchise them and hold that carrot over their head, because now you got to hold them accountable. And if they really want it, they got to do the right shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's wrong with that? And by the way, that's what contracts are for. Contracts are put in place to protect people and organizations. Yeah. So why not go use it to your advantage?
No, listen,
I think it's smart.
It is smart. They have every right to do that. My question is going to be, considering the relationship that Jerry has not fostered with George Mulugheta.
Right. That's the thing. To me, it's the relationship between the player and the agent and the club. Keeping everybody on the page. This is why we're doing it this way.
Yeah.
Right.
And go play your tail off.
Yeah.
We all want the same thing. It's sometimes I tell the player, I say, I want you to play your ass off. Me and Cris, who represents you, it's the guy between us we're not sure about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what Jerry did to Micah, I mean, to David Mulugheta's defense, I mean, the one thing I always knew as a general manager is to have enough respect for the agent and the process to not bring a kid in and try to negotiate with the player.
Correct.
That's just disrespectful.
Well, it's circumventing.
And it's not right.
It's circumventing the
morally wrong.
NFLPA. I mean, let's be honest.
Just
It's
morally
set up
wrong.
to go this way. So, Brian, really, to what Cris said, it really is about if that defense can respond. They've got everything they want offensively. I'll give them credit. They have done a great job drafting offensive linemen, maybe more than anybody over the last 5 or 6 years in the NFL. But it's about that defense. And some of those guys have left, but a lot of guys that were there a year ago, when they were embarrassed. I mean, this was the worst defensive season they ever had in the franchise's history. That's what we're talking about. I mean, how do you use that to your advantage to try and fix it going forward?
Growing up as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Are you coming from the fan? Or are you coming from the I bring the heat?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes.
Good answer.
So growing up as a Cowboys fan, still a Cowboys fan now. This is our year, Trey. No, I love.
Been that year since 30.
I
Since
know,
Super Bowl
man.
30.
I love Caleb Downs. I thought he was the best player in the draft, any position. I thought he was awesome. College, he was great. But Quentin Williams was huge for the defense last year.
I agree.
Overshown if he stays healthy. I worry about the secondary a little bit. Besides Caleb Downs, I know what he's going to be, but I worry about the other guys out there. I know Diggs is gone now. It's going to be interesting. It'd be nice to play with some leads. You know, their offense is going to score some points early. That way, those D linemen can get after the quarterback, and we're not facing all those rushing yards that the Cowboys gave up last year. I always say we want to talk about the Cowboys. I got to be careful with that.
Hard habits to break.
Yeah, right.
Hard habits to break.
I'm a homer, man. I grew up in New Mexico. That was our team.
Yeah.
But I think they will be better on defense.
Did it
this year.
again?
Just because it's my team.
I think you're the reason why we're taping in Dallas.
Oh, no.
He's even wearing the
I don't want to be in
colors.
105 weather.
Jerry gave him that shirt.
Yes.
What color? Is this the right color? Is this Anyway, they're going to be better.
Well, one of the things that everybody talking about Caleb, one of the things I talked to Darren Woodson about that when he went into the facility, he was already telling him, well, you did this wrong. Like, this is a guy who's not only a physical presence, but from his time at Ohio State, like this guy knows everything that he's supposed to see on a football field.
I mean, just the level of maturity, professionalism, his instincts. I like, because a lot of times as players and coaches, especially on the highest level, when you see somebody do something, you don't respond. You go to them and ask them, what did you see?
Yeah.
Because I know, Marv, you coach some players and be like, what made you do that? I know, Brian, certain times you reacted and was like, how'd you make that play? Guys see certain things. Like, he's playing the game at just a different level. His overall reaction time. If you watch him several times into Miami in the playoff game against University of Miami, Lil Malachi, the receiver, he was guarding him one-on-one. I think he hit him 3 times and he fumbled. Now, the ball came right back to him.
Yeah.
But just the way he plays the game, his overall on and off the field, his overall demeanor. He comes from a family.
Yeah.
You talked about relationship with his dad.
At NC State. His dad was a running back, and since the day he was born, he was put in a position to be an NFL player. And I think I always say, we say this tongue in cheek, but when God made a professional football player mentally, that's Caleb Downs.
Yeah.
He started as a true freshman for Nick Saban.
Yes.
Yeah.
That shows you his maturity level right there, just as an 18, 19-year-old kid.
The thing about the Cowboys, though, it's always going to be about, they had those seasons under Mike McCarthy where they won 12 games, and then they flame out in the playoffs or win one playoff game, and then Stephen Jones and Jerry would say, well, we won 12 regular. Well, when did that become the standard, right? Like, you're talking about one of the few teams and have 5 Lombardi trophies. There's not many of those. And I think people in Dallas have gotten so used to having their expectations crushed. They're one of those few teams. It's kind of like the Ravens and the Bills. And we'll get into those two teams when we do the AFC. But it's like the regular season is great, but if we don't do something in the postseason, it really doesn't matter. And that's a really hard place to be for a player on that team or somebody in that organization.
I think that Jerry is playing a different game. And I think that
I believe so, too.
And I believe that game is based on financing.
Yeah.
And we saw recently Seattle Seahawks sold for a record $9.6 billion. Jerry feels like he's churning all this. So if they're worth 9, what are the Cowboys worth? What is Jerry World worth? Like, so for him, the overall evaluation on this franchise and how much he's grown it from out the dirt risking everything. That's part of his calculation.
Correct.
And he's already won 3 Super Bowls. So, like, to me, the Cowboys, you can't count their success without talking about the economics, because I believe that's a huge part of what Jerry, and he's better at the economics than he is better at football right now at this time in his life.
I'm going to go back to the play. Like, the players, they tell you how good you're going to be, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone say, oh, Jerry doesn't play in the football games. He gets the players there and he pays them and all this, but the players have to play and they have to make plays to win games, and they have to be coached well.
Let me tell you something.
So
Jerry has not created the same atmosphere that he created when Jimmy Johnson was there. He does not, because the things are more important that he gets credit now. Mm-hmm. There came a time and point where that crossed over. In the beginning, credit didn't matter. Let's get the job done. Right. Now it's important.
You decide how good you want to be.
Now, I agree with that, but at the same time, Big Earl, like, those players are smarter than you think in the locker room, and when they start to lose faith in the organization, you know, that becomes it manifests itself all throughout the building.
Well,
and these guys lose trust, and now all of a sudden they're like, we're just not going to make decisions.
It's your livelihood, though. You're playing for your future.
Right. But the players know in Dallas that if they got an issue, they don't take it to the coach, they take it to the owner. Right? I think that's the biggest issue that they've been dealing with, because it's one thing to hire a coach, as you well know. It's another thing to empower a coach.
That's right.
And I think there have been 2 coaches in Jerry's tenure that have been empowered, and that's Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. And everybody else has been like, I'm running this show, and if you got a problem, you come to me. He's the only owner that has a press conference after every game. He has a press conference after every game. And I think until that is dialed down, we might have the same issues no matter how talented this team is.
Yeah, I think we have more quality ownership. We have more quality football teams, and it's harder to win now in the National Football League consistently than ever. And I think those are also an issue with Jerry as he adapts, because the NFL is forever changing.
Correct.
Well, I think the staffs and everything and what you have as far as an organization dedicated to football has grown and changed so much. So you have to be willing to buy in order to keep up is really important.
Look, before we get back into it, shout out to Joey Nicotine Pouches. Nicotine with a quick hit, long tail, and the strength of your choice. Synthetic nicotine, flavor beads technology, flavor that actually lasts. 36 flavors, 3 strengths, 108 ways to find yours. Built for adults who want a modern pouch. 21 or older? Very simple. Head to meetjoey.com and see what they've got. Appreciate Joey for making today's episode happen. Find a retailer near you at meetjoey.com/find-joey.
Speaking of buying in, I think that's the reason that A.J. Brown is no longer with the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, the way that game ended in that playoff game, I said to myself as soon as that game was over, there is not a chance in hell that Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown are going to be on the same team next year. It turns out, it took a little longer than we thought, but A.J. is now with New England. We'll get to that a little bit later. Where are we on Philadelphia? Because I do think that Howie does a better job maybe than anybody in the NFL of finding these players and drafting them, Steve, and putting them in position to have success. But this is a big year for Jalen Hurts now.
Yep.
I mean, they have fully backed Jalen Hurts over the A.J. Brown situation, and I understand why you would do that because you've already paid him. But I think this is a really big year for Jalen.
I don't think there's any question. And I'll say this, you know, obviously he won a Super Bowl and he's done a lot of great things there. But don't think that there aren't whispers in that locker room about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Not being a team guy, not being easy to get along with, not being a guy that's one of the guys that's going to hang out with everybody and be, you know, a good, you know, sort of conduit between, you know, the other players and each other. I just there's enough there that I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though, right? Because you always tell someone, be who you are, right? Because if you're not being who you are, players will know it's phony, right? This is who Jalen is. I mean, like, if he's suddenly going, hey, let's go out for this and that, people look at him like, well, who are you now? You know what I mean? He's in a tough situation there.
Well, I think when you're the starting quarterback, though, Trey, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the successful quarterback runs and their personalities and how they led their team and also were demanding. they were demanding to make the teammates. There was a guy that was up there very successful, up there in that Northeast for a long time, and they brought a lot of different players in there. And if they couldn't get on the same page with him, they were one year wonder.
Here's one other thing. When he came out, I missed on him. I didn't grade him high enough for what he's done in the National Football League. But make no mistake, there are throws that he doesn't make on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So when you say you're going to hold guys accountable and be hard on them, well, if you're not all of a sudden making plays yourself and you're not throwing balls into windows that are tight and all those sort of things, how do you hold anybody else accountable?
He is somewhat risk averse.
Yeah.
But then again, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is somewhat risk averse, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron doesn't want to put it up where someone may take it away.
Yeah.
But that's a different, even though you use the same words to describe two different people, it's not because he can't see it. It's not because he doesn't have anticipation.
No.
He realized the value of the football. And he got the arm talent to build squeeze it. He has the same arm talent as Brett Favre, but I got better judgment.
Yeah.
So it's different, even how you describe those same players. So they're at different levels of the spectrum. I'm just going to tell you right now, in the National Football League, we have more pure throwers than any other time in the National Football League. There are more guys comfortable with a sophisticated NFL passing game. And we got at least 15 guys right now that can throw better than him.
Yeah.
So if I take you a throwing competition, all right, now that's not going to win you games and everything, but that's some of the things that people are talking about. Now, he's been at a disadvantage because he's had unbelievable continuity like no player through college, through his pro career, all the different coordinators. So that right there, you have to take a little bit back from it. But his football knowledge and his anticipation, these are real things. Michael Vick didn't have it. Randall Cunningham didn't have it. The only one that really has it, the superstar athlete, is Lamar.
Yeah.
All right? These guys do not come. God does not make them with anticipation on the elite level of Brady and all these other quarterbacks. They got to see it open first, then they'll let it go. And a lot of the stuff that A.J. Brown said is true.
Correct.
Like, that stuff is true. Now, how Jalen handled or didn't handle the massage therapist information, allegedly.
Supposedly.
Allegedly. Like,
Really? There was a female involved.
a massage brought down another guy in
Brought
team.
another one down.
Never heard that one.
That's
I didn't hear that one, so it didn't happen.
That's
I didn't even hear about it.
that's been out there for a while.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Allegedly.
He's going to have to evolve as a quarterback and get better with the situation around him a little bit. His demeanor, I don't like the guys on the sideline just looking sad.
Yeah.
I don't like, and you see him on the sideline, doesn't look like he's involved in the game, doesn't look like he cares. I don't like that. I mean, I think as a quarterback, you don't see him go to his receivers very often. You see some guys get really fired up and go to their receivers. You don't see Jalen doing that a lot, or go to the lineman and have talks with them. I don't see that out of him very often.
What you see a lot of players like him, and I'm going to say this, a lot of African-American quarterbacks that are dual threats, they read all the clippings, they hear everything that people says, and people want them to be pocket passers. And guess what? I'm a pocket passer now. Yeah. That's not the best version of himself.
I agree.
Like, if they go back to the offense they ran 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary when he gets the ball and you don't know if they're running it. Yep. You don't know if it's a quarterback option or that play action down the field. Like that, when he's doing that, he has the ability to be special. Yeah. When he is a multiple level threat and a threat to run, he is that guy.
And it doesn't hurt to have Saquon.
Yeah,
arguably one of the most physical offensive lines in football.
Yes.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, because I died on this hill last year, and thank God I was right. I just said, if you're expecting Saquon to have a big year in 2025, you are going to be mistaken. Because I went historically and looked through every other 2,000-yard runner. I'm telling you, to a man, it dropped off significantly the year after the 2,000-yard season. Just wear and tear, 17 games. And he was the only one that went to the Super Bowl, so there were 3 more games he had to play. So that season is now behind him. What are realistic expectations for Saquon Barkley this year?
Well, you mentioned the offense. Cris just mentioned 2-3 years ago. When they beat San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, I mean, that was artistry.
Yes.
I mean, surgical. I mean, but it was the run-pass option that put San Francisco defense on their heels the whole
It puts
day.
every defense on their heels. Hard to defend. And You're a man short for the quarterback every time. I don't care what defense you call. You're a man short if the quarterback runs every single time.
And you hand off to this dude.
Yes, he's
Saquon,
different. Yes,
special.
But is he? I mean, what do we think we're going to see from Saquon this year?
Well, you tell me what Lane Johnson going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
You tell me what that offensive line going to be, because Lane Johnson, when you get off the bus with him, let me tell you what you can do compared to when you get off the bus and he's not healthy. So I do believe he has at least 2 more good, healthy seasons in him. But to me, what is the mentality that they set on the first day of training camp? What kind of football team are we going to be? AJ's gone. You're not going to have a receiver over there reading a book on you.
Right. And that book got the bestseller, I think, on Amazon for a while. So it was great for the author. I'm not sure how good for the team, but it was great for the author.
So when you tell me what that offensive line, and I'll tell you what their ceiling can be. We know what they're going to present to us defensively. They got a few dudes that you can't block.
They got dudes, as you said, that God made them to be football
creatures. They got some creatures.
Those guys are, they're monsters on that defensive line.
I would expect them to have a good year. My biggest thing is what is your commitment to having Jalen Hurts run the ball 7-8 times a game? Because again, that's going to create the problems with where's the ball.
Yes.
Yeah. But what's his mentality in a contract year? Like, what is your mentality? Like, you going to sacrifice your body? Because up until this point, you could see, man, he would lay it on the line. And when he was able to do that, it makes them a different type of threat than other teams in the league.
Then there's the Commanders. Had that magical run during Jayden Daniels' rookie year and got to the NFC Championship game, didn't get through. Everything kind of fell apart for him this past year. My concern, and you go back to your days with him at Arizona State, like, Kyler Murray is small, but he's thick. You know what I mean? Jayden is a slender dude, and he can spin it. He can make all the throws. My concern, especially for a guy who will take off with it outside the pocket, like, is he built to do this for 10, 12 years?
Well, I think he still has to make decisions when he leaves the pocket of when to get down and slide and not take those hits, But I've just been around him for so long, and I don't ever count him out because I think he's so freaking competitive underneath his skin. He's got a drive, a quiet desire people don't like because they don't see this fiery guy. He's got that little grin on his face, but that grin is like, I'm about to beat your ass.
Yeah.
I will tell you what impressed me as well is talking to Cliff Kingsbury. He said his preparation is second to none.
I want credit for that because I used to.
You did. You were there.
Yeah, you got to stop that. Stop people, man, because they give credit to everybody else. You got to stop people like, hey, man, I was on the bus.
I was telling
when that happened.
Coach Herm, we
right.
We had little counseling sessions with my man.
People forget he was at Arizona State before he
was in there too, but that was good.
Yeah,
it was all right. We got everybody on the same page.
He won the Heisman at LSU, but he was really formed during his time at Arizona State.
And like he said to me, I got out of my comfort zone. I went somewhere, I got out of my comfort zone, I had to earn a job, and let's go. I said, yep, that's all you got to do, tell him. And the rest has been history.
Defensively, Dan Quinn has always been a guy that's going to get the most out of his guys. But again, they were a team that it just felt like every time they took a step forward last year, they took 2 steps back. And I think Dan's got a big thing on his plate this year to try and get that team to where they can be a little more level through all 17 games.
Yeah. Well, I think
Dan Quinn's the only one I know on the defense.
Yeah.
Name
Frankie Love, number 4.
They got Payne.
Deron Payne.
Yeah,
That's right.
Name 5 stars.
Well, I'm cheating. I'm looking at the depth chart. So.
I'll see if I can. Shanker still? Frankie Lovu, the linebacker?
Yeah.
Right.
Deron Payne? And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Actually, Leo Chenal is there, and according to this website, they got Luvu down the second team up behind Leo Chenal.
I have to, because if you ever do a Google search, your name's going to come up under Cris Carter, because when people ask me to describe Sonny Styles, I mention my man.
Yeah.
And I mention how the change in position, the overall dynamic. Like, I remember your combine workout. I'd be like, that white dude can run. Like, no, for real. That's what we say. Not that dude can run.
Styles can run.
Yeah. But the overall size and how there's a prototype for every position. These dudes are off the chart as far as the prototype, how they move, and their overall height to be able to play the position. Like the first time I played against Brian Urlacher and Mike Singletary, and to see the difference in what they look like but getting the same job done. Sonny Styles, he can run for president. He's a great human being. He has the great training, his father, his family support system, how he attacked college football, how he's a leader, how he's learned, because he's still a very young linebacker.
Yeah.
He's only been playing that for 2 seasons, less than 2 seasons. So to me, I describe for your type of talent, that type of transition, Matt Patricia, we saw what we got out of him in the 1 year with him playing there at Ohio State. And I do believe that as his career goes on, he can be a rush end in special situation because, man, that speed, you just can't duplicate off that edge.
No.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to Inside Football.
Why? Because myself, Brian Urlacher, former general manager Steve Keim, Arizona Cardinals, and legendary coach Marvin Lewis, all on the set, telling great stories and giving you great insight that, guess what? It's not out there. You see what ESPN did? We put together a special group. Subscribe to what we're doing.
It's the right thing to do. I mean, we've got everything covered, and we're covering the season for you because we care. And that leads us to the Giants. And they're interesting, although I think John Harbaugh's got his work cut out for him this year. I'm sure you guys have all seen the thing with Cam Scatterbo pointing to the injury and then doing that. As a coach, that had to drive you crazy.
You know, I've spent some time with Cam also.
I was about to say.
All these guys.
I know,
Jeez.
but he's not going to change. That's who he is.
Yeah.
And John's got a job of reining him in. And Jaxson Dart as well.
Yeah.
You know, Jaxson wasn't that guy when he was at Corner Canyon, Utah high school, you know. But all of a sudden he's in L.A., then he goes to New York, and now I'm going to be this guy. And John's got to pull him back. I think he will. I mean, there's no question about it. John Harbaugh is a very good football coach. Yeah. I mean, we had 2 great football coaches leave the AFC North last year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, got their team prepared every single week to go win, even when they had injuries and other things. But anyway, I just believe John will get Scat because Scat is an athlete. He can catch, he can run, he can throw. I mean, he's like Tom Matty. I said, bro, you like Tom Matty? He goes, who is that? I said, Google him.
I was about to say, that is a reference that will be lost on Cam Scatterbo. There's no question about it.
I think the body of work still has a long way to go for both those, the quarterback and the running back there in New York. But I will say one thing. The thing that I'm encouraged by and the thing I like about both of them is they love the game.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
Yes, that's for sure.
They love it. I want to be around guys that love it.
Jaxson Dart's got to learn when to get down as well.
Thank you.
Man,
I'm glad you said that.
I don't like seeing these young guys get hit like that. They're going to learn real fast.
And you know, they asked him about it last year, Brian, and he's like, well, you know, these other guys take these hits, and I went, cool, let them. Like, that's their job.
Yep.
Your job is to not get that hit, so you're there on third down.
Stay in the game,
I'm going to tell you about my 4th year in the league. We were playing against the Cincinnati Bengals in Minnesota, and they had a linebacker, and all I know, he was the first-round pick from Auburn.
Takeo Spikes.
Takeo Spikes.
Bruh,
Muscles on muscles, that guy.
we ran a little read route, and they were in zone. I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to catch this in the slot, and I'm getting ready to split these dudes. I'm looking at the dome. Next thing I know, Fred Zambolini giving me the smelling salt. I was like, who hit me?
Someone turned the microwave on when you pissed yourself.
51 caught you.
Yeah.
So what I tell that story is it takes you a while for you start to figure out the measure. This guy's away from me, who he is, can he close on me? RG3, he thought he was gone until he ran into Haloti Ngata, right?
Correct.
A 340-pound guy shattered his knee and everything. But he had been getting away until then. These young guys, when you come into the league, you think, because I used to get away, there's less space. And the game in the NFL, not like college where the ball's played on the outside hash and you can run to the field. The game in the NFL is played right in the middle of the field.
Correct.
Yep.
And they got guys that have played in the secondary playing at linebacker, Brian Urlacher, guys that have played linebacker, now they playing defensive line. So the whole speed of the game, so it takes a couple years for you to start to respect, hey man, these guys can get to me in spaces that never before guys couldn't get to me at.
It's going to be interesting, and you know there's so much that's gone on this offseason with the back and forth with Jaxson Dart and Abdul Carter, and and we don't want to really swim in those waters, but at the end of the day, you got to find a way for everybody to be together on the same page, right? In the same, like in the locker room, you can talk about almost anything but three things. Don't mess with another person's money. Don't talk about their family, and they've got to find a way to make that thing work, because when they went together and had that press conference at OTAs, it was clear there were still some hard feelings about that entire situation. And so if you're winning, it's not a problem. Like, winning is the ultimate deodorant in the NFL. If you're winning, you'll put up with almost anything. But when you start losing, that shit really bothers me. You know what I mean?
And especially on one side of the ball, you got to watch your leadership, because just because you're leading a unit don't mean you're leading the team.
Yep.
And that's what Abdul Carter was saying. Like, you might be the leader of the offense, but you're not a leader of this whole locker room, and you are not reflecting the 80% of the players that are African Americans in this league.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about being around different guys from different environments, different religions, and now we're in a culture that is so sensitive about everything.
Everything.
So if you are a leader, like, you have to read the room.
Yeah.
You have to have some presence about you, and also realize that, sometime in this climate, certain things that I say, I can't go everywhere. I can't do everything that I want to do. So I believe they'll work it out. I believe that they'll work it out. They have no other choice.
Yeah. That's the thing.
They're tied to each other.
Yeah. That's, it's so funny. I always tell people that the greatest thing about that Super Bowl trophy, it's the best team that wins, not
Correct.
the best 11.
Correct.
And we just saw that. I became a soccer fan.
Oh, my gosh.
You saw that with
man.
Spain.
Yes.
It's the best team. They played suffocating defense, and the team won out. I mean, it was awesome to watch, just the whole thing. But it is. It's still, football is a team game. The best 11 beat the 11 best damn near every Sunday.
Well, that's the thing I love about it, and this is why I was never good at it, but this is why I love football so much, is that in soccer or hockey, hot goalie changes everything. If you're in the NBA, you got 2 or 3 dudes, you probably can take care of business.
You can ride them.
You can ride them. In baseball, it's a pitcher against a batter, and the other guys occasionally get involved, right? They occasionally get involved.
The All-Star game didn't show that.
Exactly. They occasionally get involved. With football, you got to have 11 dudes on one side of the ball working in the same direction, because if you're not together, it don't matter how good the quarterback is if the receivers can't catch. It don't matter how good the running back is if the offensive lineman can't block. You got to have everybody on the same page. That, to me, it is the ultimate team game. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think we're going to find out from New York this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever happens outside the football field or outside the locker room shouldn't affect the locker room. You get there, everything kind of stays outside. That's like your happy place. I know I used to love going to work every day because I'm in the locker room. I love my family to death, but it's your time to get away.
Yeah.
And you're at working, quote unquote working, but it's fun to be around your teammates. It's fun to be doing things with your teammates in the locker room. We all have games we play. We played soccer in there. We played baseball. We just do stupid thing between meetings to waste time. So you have those things you do, and whatever you do on your own time is your time. But the locker room is locker room time.
But Brian, that's the thing that here today. Andy Dalton's father-in-law is here, and then I remember us, Hugh Jackson, and us speaking with Andy that sometimes you need to go out with the boys, leave JJ at home.
Yes.
Because you are the leader of this football team now. I remember Andrew Whitworth came to me. He said it's time now for him to take over.
Right.
Because Witt and Domata Peko got us out of the lockout. Okay?
Yep.
I mean, they led the football team. We came out of lockout a better football team than we were going into it because we had the 2 tough-ass men on both sides of the ball led us through the lockout. And they organized the workouts. They did all that stuff. And I remember Witt said, okay, it's yours now again. He said, I don't want to hear about these guys' insurance.
Right.
I don't want to hear about all this shit no more.
Right.
You got them back again. But that's the difference. And I remember him passing the baton to Andy. After Andy, 2 years in, saying, okay, now, Andy, it's your turn to lead. And I really thought, as we were talking about coaches before, how coaches have to make an impact. I had a coach that made an impact with Andy, helping him still grow more as a leader, which is awesome.
And we'll see what happens with the Giants going forward.
And Andy's in Philly.
Yeah.
He's still playing?
Yes,
I thought he was
Red
in Carolina.
Rifle's
I thought he
never
was in
going to not play.
Carolina.
Red Rifle's
still
never
playing.
going
Oh, man.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
Probably making $10 million a year still.
So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because the next video is about to drop. Has been curated just for you. Touchdown. I don't know what to do with my hands. This is awkward. Madonna, strike a pose, Vogue.